Scott Morrison has clinched a deal with the states to ban recyclable waste being exported as a COAG summit concludes in Cairns. Joining me now live from COAG is Anna Rawlings. Anna, good to see you. The Prime Minister and Premiers talking up this recycling result. Take us through it.
Good afternoon, Danica. Well, the leaders have agreed on a recycle export ban that would effectively see plastics, glass, paper and tyres banned from being exported for waste from Australia. This is aimed instead at improving Australia's own waste management system. The Prime Minister says that this will offer more opportunities for jobs and even potentially new industries. Now, he has tasked the Environment Ministers to come up with a timeline to implement the ban. Here's the Prime Minister talking about that ban.
There's an implied promise that when you take that plastic bottle and you put it in that little plastic bin, that it's not going to end up in the ocean somewhere or in a river somewhere or in a landfill somewhere. People think it's going to be recycled, but only about 12% of it is. And so what we agreed to do today was to request our Environment Ministers. We're laying it out very clearly that there will be no export of plastics and paper and glass to other countries where it runs the risk of ending up floating around in our oceans.
Now, there were a broad range of other items on the agenda today. Among them were addressing concerns over Australia's vocational sector. There are concerns from businesses that there's a skills shortage and the training sector just isn't coping. Now, as a result of that, a new COAG Skills Council has been formed. Now, that has been tasked with providing an update on reform priorities by the end of 2019 to the Prime Minister, and then another update back at COAG in 2020. Now, this was supported by the Queensland Premier. She wanted TAFE's funding for students to study at TAFE to be more readily available. Here's what she had to say about the work being done to address the skills shortage.
As we look to what are the skills that we need for the future, we've identified 139 skills, and what we're saying to employers is that we will pay your training component if you put on an apprentice. I want to see 60,000 apprenticeships here in Queensland over the next 4 years.
Now, aside from COAG on the sidelines, there was a separate meeting held this morning for the states involved with the Murray-Darling River Basin Intermanagement Plan. Now, the governments involved did sign an agreement on that, but a stoush still does continue just over the river system and how best to deal with the drought situation there. But it was welcomed by the South Australian Premier.
The Murray-Darling Basin Plan side meeting that was held, and I thank all of the people that attended that meeting. We had a full complement of people today. There was a reiteration of our commitment to that plan, but there's also a coming together understanding there are very difficult conditions right across our country at the moment.
Now, away from the Cairns Convention Centre, there was quite extraordinary scenes at a cafe. Resources Minister Matt Canavan is in town. He was at a cafe when the Extinction Rebellion climate change activist group found him. They had been protesting here at the Convention Centre, but they tracked him down and made a bizarre attempt at a citizen's arrest. Take a look.
You're under arrest, Mr Canavan. We're taking you into custody for crimes against humanity.
No arrests this morning, no?
You're under arrest, Mr Canavan. You're a climate criminal.
Okay, all right.
So we'll require you to come with us. Thank you.
All right, well,
you're a climate criminal and we're arresting you for crimes against humanity. You're under arrest.
Good to see you, Sam. Good to see you, mate.
We're placing you under arrest.
Okay, mate. Thanks for the juice. All right, thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
You're under arrest for a climate criminal.
Climate criminal! Climate criminal! Climate criminal! Climate criminal! Climate criminal!
So quite extraordinary scenes there in Cairns City. But back here at the Convention Centre, as I mentioned, protesters from that same group had been here this morning. They delayed some of the arrivals of the leaders. The Prime Minister had to actually sneak through a back entrance to avoid them, but they did clear out mid-morning and the agenda was able to get underway. By all accounts, what we heard from the leaders at a joint press conference afterwards was that this was the best COAG meeting ever. It was the first time it had been held outside a capital city and the first time that chief ministers had met since Scott Morrison's election win.